What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Monday, December 20th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay, guys, we have a 6-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Reggie Jackson from the LA Clippers playing the San Antonio Spurs, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Reggie Jackson has averaged 30.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate. Now, I think he's going to score 35 fantasy points or more, actually 40 fantasy points or more in this one, and get you 5 times value or more. He's $7,600 DraftKings salary, but he's $1,500 less on FanDuel. So I love that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 217.5 points scored in this game. And the San Antonio Spurs have the 6th worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing point guards. So he has a fantastic matchup. And he scored 43, 36, and 26 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 25, and 30 minutes. So I like Reggie Jackson here versus the San Antonio Spurs. Oh, and Reggie Jackson scored 40 and 41 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus the Spurs. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. Here's a value play for you. I like Jordan Clarkson from the Utah Jazz playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the absolute worst defense overall. They give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Jordan Clarkson has averaged 24.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate. He's projected at 25.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's $5,200 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel. And I like this pick because Vegas thinks there's going to be 234.5 points scored in this game. So a super high scoring game. This is a great game to stack. And Jordan Clarkson has scored 23, 34, and 32 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 25, and 28 minutes. So I like Jordan Clarkson, who has scored 34, 25, and 31 fantasy points in his last 3 games here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I'm just going to ride Dillon Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have the 4th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Dillon Brooks has averaged 31 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 30% usage rate. He's projected at 33.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's $6,400 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 211.5 points scored in this game. And Dillon Brooks has scored 49, 36, and 39 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 34, 33, and 37 minutes. So I like Dillon Brooks here versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. Here's another value play for you here. This is another good low salary play if you want to stack this game. Take a look at Bojan Bogdanovic from the Utah Jazz playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the worst defense overall. They give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Bojan Bogdanovic has averaged 25.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. He's projected at 25 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $5,000 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel, and we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 234.5 points scored in this game. And Bojan Bogdanovic has scored 23, 25, and 30 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 28, and 25 minutes. So I like Bojan Bogdanovic here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, moving on to the center position. So I know I've given you a couple of picks from this game already, but I probably wouldn't recommend playing all 3 of these guys in the same lineup, but 2 of them would be just fine. So I like Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing centers. Rudy Gobert has averaged 41.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 17% usage rate. I think he can score close to 50 fantasy points in this one, get you 5 times value or more, finally getting the respect he deserves in terms of his salary pricing. He's $9,200 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel, and he scored 48, 42, and 50 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 37, 32, and 27 minutes. And he scored 38, 39, 49, 51, and 49 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Hornets. So I like Rudy Gobert here versus the Charlotte Hornets.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.